a famous quote by Yogi Berra. He said, "You can't think and hit at the same time. A full mind is an empty bat." What in the world does that mean? Well, that means that if you're going up to the plate thinking about all these things, you can't hit. You have an empty bat. Your bat's not going to work if everything you're thinking about is my stance, my grip. I have to make sure that this is right. I have to make sure I'm paying attention to the ball. I have to make sure that my stance is. You're thinking about so many things, you're not even thinking about hitting. And that's the most important part of doing that. So your goal is less about thinking and it's more about just doing. The other one is the past is gone and the future is bright. What do I mean by that is you don't look in the rearview mirror and look behind you and you're constantly seeing what the past was like. Oh, my last 4 games stunk. I didn't do well. I'm constantly looking behind instead of looking forward. What am I going to do today? How am I going to get myself ready today? What am I going to do now that is going to prepare me to do well? So a lot of times that's what happens. The word slump is just a word. If you say the word slump, and I want you all to do that with me, say the word slump in your head, say the word slump outside, and you start going like this. Your shoulders start going forward, your chin starts to go down, and it's just an excuse. I'm in a slump. I'm not doing well. I'm having a bad day, man. And next thing you know, it's this, it's that. Instead, get rid of the word slump. Say I had some challenging at bats today. Okay, I've had a challenging week, but man, I'm ready to go. I'm looking on the bright side, and here we go. All right, so the key to getting out of the slump, Coach Steve's going to talk about right now, and that's the preparation and everything you need to do to give you that confidence to get yourself out of the dreadful slump. Coach Steve.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in creating a solid routine. I think that solid routines are what create consistency. Right? You look at batters, they go up to the plate. When things are going good, there's no swing thoughts at all. But the second things go bad, we start to blame everything. Like Duke said, we're blaming our bat, we're blaming the strike zone, we're blaming the pitcher making a great pitch, we're blaming our coach for teaching us the wrong things. We blame our mechanics. So I think a consistent routine is key. I grew up a diehard Yankee fan. I watched Derek Jeter for 20 years, and it was awesome to see him because every single game, from the on-deck circle to how he took his practice swings, to he would always get down, he would say a prayer or talk to himself, then he would walk around home plate, he would fix his batting gloves, he would go through the same process every single at-bat, and that's what created consistency for him. Right? It didn't matter if there was 50,000 people there or if he was just at practice. He did the exact same thing every single time. It got him into his own little comfort zone, and he was able to flush out everything else going on. Right? Slumps happen when our guys get in the batter's box, and like Duke said, we're thinking about all the wrong things. Right? We're thinking about our previous at bat. We're worried about, well, coach already bumped me down in the order. Is he going to take me out of the lineup now? I have to get 3 more hits to get my average up to 250. We're thinking about all the things that don't matter instead of focusing on that pitcher that's standing 60 feet away from us and figuring out a way how to beat him. So when I talk about routines, I'm talking about our pregame batting practice. What's the purpose for our batting practice today? What are we trying to work on? I'm talking about when we're in the hole, we got our helmet on, we're looking out at the pitcher, we're working on our timing. The on-deck circle, what are we doing? We're taking our practice swings, we're loosening up, we're working on our timing, understanding the situation, what's going on, at that certain point in the game. And then I'm talking about when we get in the batter's box, our breathing, our routine, our visualization, and really just, honing in on a good, aggressive, confident approach. I can't say it enough. I think routines are huge for, not getting in a slump and then also getting out of one as fast as you possibly can. Because like I said, the second things go bad, we start to blame everything else going around us. Kids will change their batting gloves, they'll change their bat, they'll change where they're standing in the batter's box. And I'm just speaking from experience because I've been in slumps before. I've failed way more than I've succeeded. So I think, especially when I'm working with my younger players, I'm able to communicate with them that it's not the end of the world, right? You're going to go, 0 for 10. You're going to have bad at bats. You're going to strike out. You're going to look silly at times, but baseball and softball are games of failure. So we have to find a way to have a short memory, move on quick. I think a couple weeks ago on our show, I talked about focusing on the 7 versus focusing on the 3. Right? The best hitters in the world hit 300. So we have to make sure we focus on the 3 times that we get hits over the 7 times that we get out. If we spend all of our energy focusing on those 7 times we get out, we're really going to struggle, right? We're always going to think negatively. We're always going to worry about, man, I had some really bad at-bats right there, instead of flushing it, having that short memory, sticking to my routine and just trusting the process. Focusing on quality at-bats is also huge. All right, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I had a player, this was probably 6 or 7 years ago. We were playing 13U baseball. It's our first time on the big field. He was our second baseman. He was the smallest guy on the field. So good player, really good defensive player. He was fast. He had a good swing, but he just wasn't strong enough for the big field yet. So I can't tell you how many times he hit a hard line drive, caught by the first baseman, caught by the shortstop. So at the end of the year, we looked at the numbers, and he hit 098. We sat down at the end of the year, player-parent meeting. I went through the season with him, and instead of talking about the 098, I looked to the left and I wrote down, you had an over 500% quality at bat percentage. Over 500 quality at bat percentage. If I would have told that kid you hit 098 this year, you didn't get many hits, you had a down year, he might never have played baseball again, right? But we talked about his quality at bats. What's a quality at bat? A quality at bat could be working a walk. It could be getting a bunt down. It could be moving a runner over. It could be a sac fly. It could be, being down 0-2, fouling off 6 straight pitches, eventually striking out, but really making the pitcher work for it, right? So I instilled the confidence in him that the 098 didn't matter. It was the amount of line drives you hit, the hard contact, how good of a teammate you were. Fast forward 6 years, he's playing college baseball right now. And that was a kid that really wasn't one of the top performers at the 13U age group. And I know a lot of you coaches are coaching those young players right now. And it's important that we focus on the quality at bats over the batting average. And I'm also, a big believer in positive self-talk. I don't know if you guys saw a couple weeks ago, but Andrew McCutchen hit a home run, and he was mic'd up that game. And as he's rounding first base, he's talking to himself. He's like, "You're the man, baby. That's what I'm talking about. You're the best. You're the best." And he's calling himself the best as he's rounding the bases. So it got a little bit of negative criticism, and he made a comment after the game that, I wasn't doing that because of my ego. I wasn't doing that to be cocky or conceited, but everybody else is going to doubt me first. Right? There's going to be critics. There's going to be people out there that are telling me how bad I am. If I don't believe in me, then nobody's going to. So basically, he's just telling himself, you're the best. Every single time you get in the batter's box, you're the best hitter on the field. And I think it's tough. It's challenging for some of our players. I'll even ask my lessons sometimes, who's the best hitter on your team? And the second they hesitate and they think about somebody else, I'll tell them wrong answer. Because I've never met a good hitter that doesn't believe in themselves. You can be the most coachable. You can be the best teammate. You can be the best son, the best student. But when you get in that batter's box, you have to have a chip on your shoulder. You have to believe that you're going to beat that guy standing out on the mound. And if you don't, you're already starting in a hole. So, the positive self-talk is huge. So the 3 topics I talked about: routines, focusing on quality at bats over the batting average, and that positive self-talk, finding a way throughout the routine, the breathing, the getting in there, slowing the game down, and just trusting yourself and trusting the work that you put in will not only minimize those slumps, but they'll also get you out of them a lot quicker.